DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello, everybody. I am not Bolon, and it is not Thursday, and I guess this is the DeFi Kingdoms AMA, despite all the things I just said. Welcome. It is the 22nd of November, and we've got some big news for you. We just dropped the patrols info last night. Dreamer and Bolon are out in the Philippines working on that right now, and it's pretty exciting. So let's just jump right into it today. We've got some updates for you. Let me find that screen. There it is. Sunbear, do you want to talk a little bit more about Dreamer and Bolon in the Philippines?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Great to be back home as well after doing some DeFi Kingdom travel. Let's see. So Dreamer and Bolon are at the YGG Summit, and we had an opportunity that popped up. Bolon really kind of drove that objective to connect with YGG. I think up to about 12,000 players is what they were anticipating, or people attending, players, and it's a very player-focused event down there in the Philippines. And so we got a booth, we got some presentation opportunity, and so they're down there just rocking it, probably finishing up pretty soon with that week-long time. And we also thought it'd be a good opportunity, given the patrols that have just been announced that we're going to talk a lot about today. And with it being such a great way for people to get started in DeFi Kingdoms, it can start for even just a few bucks. Grab some low-level heroes, go in and learn the combat engine and grind and earn those rewards. It's something that YGG and other guilds, gamer groups are influencers, everybody is very excited about, and so it just seemed like timely and a good place for us to announce that. So a lot of great partnerships will be coming out of that, especially focused on gaming guilds. So that's a little update for what those folks are doing down in the Philippines.
Yeah, thanks, Sunbear. It's pretty exciting to see what they're doing out there. Just getting with guilds and hopefully onboarding a lot of cool new players. So everybody be nice in Discord. Treat them well. Let's see, what do we got next? Just wanted to give everyone a heads up. We noticed an Expeditions API issue in the last 12 hours or so. That's been corrected, and there's a script running to update all the heroes. So your heroes should be showing all their experience if you just claimed them from an expedition. So thanks for your patience while we fix all that good stuff. Well, I feel like we should have just bolted your stuff together, Sunbear, because I think we're going to have you tell us all about your trip to Thailand now, if you're ready for that. I think you're still muted, though.
Oh, here we go. I'll even turn on my camera. So just got back from Thailand, spent time at DevCon with Starcat and Dreamer there. Pretty much the entire Metis team, or almost the entire team, was there. They had a very big presence there. We also got the opportunity, which was super fun, to connect with two noobs. So shout out to two noobs from Donate 3 and Hope from Mythic Squad. Just solid community members, and it was fun to not only spend time with them, but to have them help out quite a bit with onboarding and talking to some of our partners. So thank you to those guys. We got a lot of good time with Metis, with the leadership of Metis, with the foundation folks, and help them really see our game plan right now. Help them really see the foundation that has been laid on the Metis chain with the bouts and with the spectating and the voting and everything. And we also showed them patrols. We didn't publicly put it out there at that point. Well, I guess we did a little bit, and we had to swear two noobs to secrecy. But since he was at that presentation. But yeah, we'll help them really see kind of what that's going to do for Metis and for DeFi Kingdoms, for onboarding, for projected numbers, all that kind of stuff. So some exciting progress there. Also just met a lot of great people and re-met a lot of great people from our partnerships to just solidify those relationships. And people are really getting excited. It seems like we're seeing a lot of people coming back that haven't been around for a while. People wanting to reconnect and really see what we're doing now to kind of show their communities what's going on. People wanted to collaborate. So you'll see some more collaborations coming out, I think, of some of these connections. And DevCon, what a cool convention, really focused on developers and collaboration and things like that. And we could not believe the number of side events. Like Web3 is just booming in that region. There were literally thousands of side events to choose from. I was going to say hundreds, but there was actually over 1,000, so, or more than that. Anyway, great trip. Kudos to Dreamer, just continuing to go like event to event. He went straight down to the Philippines, and Bolon went down to join him there, and I tapped out to spend time with family. So appreciate those guys doing that hard work down there. So yeah, there's my report.
I'm going to figure out these buttons, I promise. Thanks, Sunbear. It sounds like it was a great trip. It's super cool to see just how pumped people are getting about the Web3 space and Web3 gaming and all that good stuff. Yeah, any other things you want to toss in there? I see your camera back.
Sorry.
Get
totally
in there.
forgot.
Go for it.
I wanted to mention one other thing. Thanks, Winston. We actually got some great time with the Kaya team as well. Kaya and Line, we attended a couple events there, talked with some of their leadership, really got an idea of kind of what their direction is, what their vision is for like the Line mini apps and dApps. And so we're in the application process to get more connected to that. Basically, they really want to open up the Line messenger world to games and basically any protocols, many things that people can do and engage. And with the focus on what users want, they want to have some fun, they want to be more connected and everything. And secondarily, as connecting people to the Kaya chain and stuff like that. So got some really good brainstorming around that. And so we've got some ideas that we'll be cooking up and what that could possibly look like, having a mini presence of some type on the Line app, which, if you don't know, I mean, there's like 160 million users in regions in Asia, I believe. So it's kind of like Telegram, but really focused in those areas. So happy to reconnect and make some solid progress there.
That's great. I'm glad you got to touch base with them, because I know that we have wanted to build over there, but just kind of waiting for the dust to settle to see how everything shakes out. And it seems like it's settling. So it's pretty exciting to think we could start getting into stuff over there. So moving right along, we are going to answer some questions later. But first, we've got a familiar face here that we haven't seen in just a little while. It's we got Workhorse up here, and we see Hubert all the time, but he's up here too. Hey, Hubert, how's it going? Thanks. Workhorse, how are you doing, man? Do you mind telling us about patrols a little bit?
I am not Bolon, and it is not Thursday. Good to see everybody. True. Happy to be here. Really excited to talk about patrols with Hubert here. As many of you know, Hubert and I meet a lot and work on all sorts of crazy things. And this was definitely an AMA I didn't want to miss, because Hubert has big evil plans and patrols are but a small fraction of those evil plans. And it was really fun to work on. And so I'm really excited to see people do stuff with things. And before I start spilling too many beans, I definitely want Hubert to guide the conversation, and then I'll be the hype man. So after you, Hubert.
I'll spill the beans. Yeah, so we've been talking about this mysterious bannerman activity for a bit. It is no longer mysterious. It is patrols, and it is also scrub fights, which is something we've been talking about for a very long time as well. So yeah, now we can stop using keywords. I will say, the term scrub fights kind of applies to kind of a broader system of just like having player versus environment combat for the masses, not just like having boss fights that the void hunts are, but being able to have content starting at level 1 and being able to kind of diversify and have things that are more consumable in terms of like it's not one big hard fight, but several easier smaller fights with the potential for like branching things occurring, different teams that you fight each time. Sometimes you might get special events or other things that could happen. That I'm talking kind of about future things. I will just say that the first iteration of patrols is going to be our proof of concept, and we'll have just content for levels 1 through 9, and there will be surprises by the way of loot, but no surprises by the way of secret paths yet. But we also designed it to be very flexible and kind of be the end system that we wanted from the start. So I do see us expanding on it as we go, and I think there's a ton of cool things with what we can do with it, and it really is also kind of a big combination of everything that we've designed so far, all the skills we've acquired over the process of building what we built. And finally we'll have something where a new player can come in with brand new heroes and have some combat content that they can do and start grinding that way if they want to just focus only on combat type things. I guess just a few notes about how it works that might not have been mentioned already. So patrols are for bannermen, which means you can only do them with heroes that have been staked in Submersia on Metis. So it'll be a little bit exclusive there. There will be 3 different tiers of difficulty, and you'll have a choice of which one you want to start in, and you'll also potentially have a choice of moving to a different tier in the middle of your patrolling. And there will also be a limit to how many times you can do patrols with a given hero as well per day. So just a few things like that. I think there's a lot that can be said. There's, we haven't announced really anything. We showed 3 of the enemies. There are more than 3 total that you can fight. And yeah, before I say any more, you got anything you want to add, Workhorse?
Yeah, so there are more than the 3. Hubert and I have been working hard on a bestiary that will be a sort of our never-ending monsterpedia of crazy things that people will be able to fight. And one of the cool things about this whole process has been, I'd say this isn't rare for us, but Hubert and I started with just like a light idea, a simple idea that then has spiraled into the foundation of a much broader, bigger picture. And I think that's what is really cool about this team, is that everybody like jumped into action once that became kind of a possibility. One of the weirdos that jumped into action was SBD, who Hubert and I make fun of a lot. So I'm going to not stop that now. I'm just going to keep making fun of him. But his art for this round of beasts and monsters is pretty awesome, and I'm very proud of the work that he is doing. I hope he feels good about you do what in chat. But it was really awesome to see him sort of pop off. So that's one of the big things I'm excited to see people be excited about. PvP is awesome, but we all know what we're up against when we're going PvP. But now we're going up against interesting and unique monsters that do unique and interesting things, and it's only going to get more fun and creative from here. And I think this is one of those things that like it's a daily piece of content that everyone's just going to want to do, because it's fun, but B, it's the rewards. And Hubert sort of touched on this, but there are rewards, and I think it's also probably one of the most efficient ways to level. I think this is the way I will choose to level all of my heroes as I level them, because I think the deal is pretty good. Hubert, I can't tell if you're into what I'm saying or not, so hop in here if I'm correct.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time I've been saying, that combat content will be the way to get the fastest way to gain experience, and that remains true. You will get more experience doing patrols with your heroes than you will by doing profession quests, unless you were doing like stamina potion profession quests. I guess that will still for the time being be like the fastest way to level up your heroes, but it also is costly. But yeah, if you're just being more casual and just coming in and doing your patrols every day, that would be the fastest way to level up those heroes from like levels 1 through 10. And then at some point after that, like it becomes doing the void hunts will be the most experience. So and we've also set it up so like this is not going to be like how the void hunts are, where everything is like following your team's level. Every enemy is a specific level with specific stats that do not change. So like if you're doing it with high level heroes, it'll be pretty easy if you do like the level 1 through 3 team enemies. But you know, as a level 1 through 3 person, you also can fight harder guys. And it would be faster than expeditions without stamina potions. Like you'll get more per day by like versus how like per stamina by doing the patrols than you would by doing that. But you know, the rewards will be different too. So so yeah, I mean, I think that's also just talking about the economy. It does, you know, potentially further diversify where people are putting their heroes and where they're being used. So I think that should be beneficial. You know, it's great that people are doing profession quests, but you know, there's a lot of things there that have been inflated for a long time, and you know, if we have fewer people doing those, then that can help with the economy of those things too. So, you know, I like that we're able to give you guys more choices, things to do. I also just mentioned that with the enemies being at fixed levels, we're also putting in like an XP scaling system where if you're below the level of the enemies, you'll gain more experience when they die, and if you're above their level, you'll gain less. So it'll, you know, even though you can get a lot of experience early on, like the higher level heroes are not going to get as much if they're just going in and smashing everything, because it's not a challenge for them, so they don't have much to learn from the experience. So yeah. Let's see, I think there's one other thing I want to say. Oh, SBD's beautiful art. I did want to just plug that I believe there was a tweet that got sent out that has his sketches for those 3 enemies that you've seen on the video.
It's so good. They're so good.
The drunkard, the pickpocket, and the grifter. And I guess just one other thing about, I guess, the lore of this whole thing, like, you know, you're a bannerman, or your heroes are bannermen of Submersia, and up until now, like, besides the void hunts, everything seemed like very safe in our universe. And you know, that's all a facade. It's actually quite dangerous out there, and we just haven't had the content built yet to show you that. So like the city does need protection. It needs protection from the drunkards that are being belligerent. Hey, there they are. Look at those. Good stuff.
These are awesome. I love the pickpocket.
See Bolon doing stuff like this, huh? Sorry, guys. Sorry, Bolon.
Are those all just like variations of Bolon?
Just
I can
the
see
grifter.
that.
So yeah, so I mean, cleaning up the streets, but you know, when you go into the higher level stuff, it's not just like hooligans that you're fighting anymore. Like there are other dangers in the world that need to be addressed, and the bannermen of the city are the ones that are keeping everybody safe. So you can help participate in that and get some rewards in the process. Yeah. Back to you, Workhorse, if you have anything more you want to say.
Please keep our streets safe. We wanna hang out in a safe environment. Without patrols, we're gonna have a bad time. So please patrol.
Yeah, I just wanted to butt in really quick if I could. I feel like probably the coolest part about this is anytime a new player shows up to say like, hey, what can I do? How do I play this game? Instead of saying, you know, go and send your dude fishing and then come back in 20 minutes. It's like, no, let's get your dudes over to Metis and let's learn how to fight. You know, like this is the fastest way to level up from level 1 is to play. Like that is, it sounds ridiculous saying that, but it's really cool that like this is finally happening. So pretty exciting stuff. Anything else? Workhorse or Hubert?
Hubert, what's your favorite monster that's coming out in this first group?
Of the 3?
Of the many.
The 3 that we showed, or of all of them?
Yeah, all of them.
My favorite one is probably number 9.
You're not gonna say what it is?
No.
Number 9.
Number
just
9 on the
pretty
list.
great. It's
Number
pretty
9.
good, guys.
I
It's
have
pretty
revealed
good.
that there are at least 9 enemies.
9 enemies.
I
How
was
about
gonna
you?
say I'm kind of sad we didn't show the one that second best dad loves. He's always shown at every single team meeting.
Is that
That's
number
very cool.
4?
No,
What
was
that's
that?
number.
I don't have the numbers memorized like
I
you
think
crazy
that's
people.
number 11.
Does it involve
It's 10. It's number
I think
10.
we all know
Rolling.
which one it is.
It's number
It was
10.
Too
Number
hot.
10.
Too sexy. Needed to be lowered a little bit. Well, great. Anybody else want to talk about patrols before we move on to the next phase of our AMA?
I just want to point out, like, I know you've already kind of said this, Winston, and we've talked about it in the past, but this is a big shift for us. Like, this is in my opinion, the biggest game changer we've had in a very long time. Because now you can go say to any of your friends, just come and play patrols. Learn it's the easiest way to learn the combat engine. It's going to be basic combat engine moves. You get to work your way up. You work your way up to get enough, rewards or whatever to get your first armor and weapons at level 3. I mean, just like to start from the beginning and learn as you go, and and then basically get addicted to this amazing game without having to dive into this rich deep pool of so many different things you can do. To be able to do that and not even have to go to the other rooms if you don't want to, but to know that there's more is like, I don't know. It just makes me super excited for onboarding, for introducing the game, for guilds, for people to grind, for any age. I mean, it's just a complete game changer. And I know the way that we had to do this made sense because we're able to like balance test and everything and really put out an amazing game. But now that we can work backwards from that to create something like this that's just plain easy fun is just brilliant. And I'm really excited about it.
I also want to second a lot of those things too. I remember like back in 2021, shortly after we launched, going to a conference actually in Salt Lake City, and running into Gabby from like YGG. He actually was presenting a session there, and I went up and sort of introduced myself afterwards. And he was saying, wow, like this looks really cool what you guys are building. And at that time, YGG was really heavily involved with like Axie Infinity and things like that. You'd have like scholarship programs and things like that. And there was like this question from him and also from the community a lot about like when scholarships, when stuff like that like we could have sort of like players playing the game, using their time and their talents to basically progress like your in-game assets. And so I think now like this is really that culmination of that system that like we have been envisioning for so long. So I'm really stoked about this too. It like represents a whole new chapter for us, just as Sunbear was saying.
Yeah, thanks for those comments, guys. It is very exciting. Real quick, I haven't been real quick, I haven't been watching this bout very closely, but the Skiller's Berserker just popped his archer, and that was what I was exclaiming about. And what an unfortunate turn of events. It looks like 91 Karmas is kind of pulling away with this one. Skiller has lost one archer. He's got this Berserker that thinks he's on the wrong team. And I don't know. I hope you get him next time. Skiller. Because at least now the Berserker can't hit himself. So, he's going to be doing 100% damage. Okay, well, this one seems like it's pretty much in the bag. So let's move on. Just a quick heads up to everybody. Decided to do a little giveaway on this AMA. So if you throw patrols in the chat, we're going to do 3 giveaways, 3 sets of armor. I'm just going to do heavy armor and a shield, and then the other ones, I don't know, medium and then light armor. I can't think of what they're called right now, but throw patrols in the chat and I'll give away 3 things. Congratulations, 91 karmas. Good job. GG to both of y'all. Let's see what's next on the list. We've talked about patrols. We have watched about. I think we could answer some questions now. This first question, we're gonna do some patrols questions first. Like we may have already answered them. Who knows? We'll see. We'll answer them again.
There were also some in the chat that maybe came up we can get while we're doing patrols questions. But
okay. I might scroll back and look for those while you're answering questions then.
Yeah.
So first question, how long does one patrol typically take, and is the gameplay as straightforward as hunts?
So yeah, one patrol is going to be a series of 3 fights for now. And we're still in the process of balancing everything and getting everything integrated. So like the total duration is going to be something that will probably vary. It'll depend on the power of your heroes and how effective you are at killing your enemies. But the enemies are not going to be as strong as like Void Hunt enemies. So should be fast enough that you can do multiple sets. And I did say that we're limiting like how many patrols your heroes could do. So like for one team of heroes would be able to do 3 patrols, which would be a total of 9 fights. Right now is how we're designing that. So I think doing all 9 fights, we'll see how long that ends up taking. It might be between like 20 to 30 minutes or so, I guess, depending on how good your heroes are. And could be faster if you're like using really strong heroes against really weak enemies. That'd probably be much faster, but you won't get as much experience that way.
Okay. Let's see. Where did my list go? I'm doing like 7 things at once here. The next question is for me. If I do a patrol using 3 berserkers, will I end up punching myself? 100%. Without a doubt. That's definitely going to be happening. Next question is an order of completion. Are we expecting to complete patrols before or after durability and divine essence?
I wish my answer was the opposite of what I'll say, but I think it's probably going to be patrols first, just with the way things are working out. But we're also really making a lot of progress on divine essence and durability as well. So there will be a period of time where your patrols will not be doing any durability damage to your equipment, but I don't expect that period of time to be too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remind me, will they cost stamina? Will they expend stamina?
No. So we actually do not have stamina as a system on Metis. It was a kind of decision to streamline things. So instead, we're just limiting things by like number of times per day that you can do it. So that's as I mentioned before. Each hero has a 3 patrol limit that they can do per day.
Great. I keep moving my list out of the way. There's still a bit. Let's see. Next question would be: are they available on both Crystal Vale and Submersia? And I think they're just on Submersia.
Right. Yeah. Though with that being said, we can have things like patrols eventually over there too. Like this is kind of the start of what I want to see when we have the traveling system out, where you take your heroes to different locations on the map, and then they can do, it's not going to be called patrols, but do like an adventure there. And depending on what location they're at, the enemies they'll fight will be different. The things that can happen will be different. And so this is just the beginning of how I'd like the general gameplay loop to be. We're just starting it here on Metis.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the enemies a little bit. What can you say about the skills of the enemies we might encounter on a patrol? Would they be the same classes as heroes potentially? Like, will it be, a guy shooting piercing shots at you, or will they have unique skills similar to your hunters or similar to your hunt enemies?
So yeah, I think Workhorse will probably have some things to add here, but yeah, in general, there's a lot of unique things. But we did also take some inspiration on some of the actions that they do from some of the classes. So there's actually like kind of a back and forth between Workhorse and I on to what degree we do that, and oftentimes we were guided by SVD's art. It's like I know you wanted this, but SBD's art does not allow, so we're changing it.
Smart.
Yeah, there are some things that sneak in there. You'll see that, like, if there's a character, a monster that's sort of thief-like, they'll do something that is like something in the Thief Codex every so often. If there's a monster that's sort of Dark Knight-ish, you'll see something show up that's sort of like a skill in a Dark Knight Codex. It's not going to be exactly one for one, because there is sort of a difference between monsters and heroes, and things like that. But there will be allusions to it, so you can kind of dive a little bit more into the flavor, because you never know if a monster at one point was a hero that then no longer was one, and now is gone dark side or light side, or
Spoilers.
I'm speaking in generalities here. You're saying spoilers means it's a spoiler.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking, these things could happen. So anyway, long story short, yes, there will be some stuff that will be like, oh, that looks just like an XYZ class ability, but also they'll have distinct and unique things too, just like Void Hunt monsters.
Cool. Well, thanks for your thoughts on that. I'm actually going to grab a question from the chat that I think we might have answered already, but I want to make sure it gets answered. For patrol loot drops, could you just go in and farm loot with level 20s, or will that formula be adjusted for team level as well?
So as of right now, we are designing it so you could go in and farm with level 20s if you want. It'll be easier. You won't get as much. I mean, if you're level 20, you won't get experience anyway. But I guess one thing I will note, though, is unlike Void Hunts, and this is something that I might change with Void Hunts in the future, we are switching the loot formula to not use raw luck for like rare drops. Instead, it's going to use luck score from each of the heroes. So it's just going to depend on like how lucky your hero is amongst other heroes, its level. And the higher up they are on that scale, the more they will contribute to the loot drops. So I guess keep that in mind. So that way, like a level 20 is not necessarily going to be any luckier than a level 1 hero per se, in terms of like their contribution to rare loot drops. And I think there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I forgot. So back to you.
That's okay. If you remember, just scream it out. Don't even, don't say excuse me. Just let it out. Next one. I got another one from the chat. I think I know the answer to this one too, but do you need to stake heroes for at least 30 days to patrol? Did I hear that right?
Yes, that is correct. You do have to have them be staked. I mean, if they're like, they can be past their like expiration period though, if it's been more than 30 days. So, at some point you'd be able to do patrols and then like unstake them for free and then move them elsewhere if you wanted to. But yes, only bannermen are allowed to do patrols because they're working for the city.
Gotcha. Okay. And excuse me if I don't comment on your responses at all, because I'm like not really listening to what you're saying. I'm looking at the next.
I remembered what it was.
Oh, thank goodness.
So yeah, one other thing we're planning to do is for new players is we will have a tutorial mode where you'll be able to just do a patrol with no rewards, but with like predefined heroes and just play it without any rewards is a plan. So that'll be a way to really get new players to like come and see what the combat system is like and what kind of things they can do, and if they actually had heroes, they could be making progress and getting rewards and stuff. So we are planning on having that be a part of all of this as well.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Hubert. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I think that's all the questions from the chat. If you have more questions, just shout them out. Real quick update. It looks like both Skiller and Karmas have lost a hero. I'm hearing talks of some kind of insane 900 crit dagger attack, a final blow or something for 900. Let's go find that. 973, nearly 1,000 executed. Damn.
That's insane. That's crazy.
That is what you get. Not like in a bad way, but just like,
and that, my friends, is why the dagger got nerfed.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can see the ripples in the pond. Great. So let's jump back to, so that's all the questions from chat, I think. Let's jump back. We've got a few more. Let's see. More unique though. Okay, one more patrols based question. Hubert, can you talk about the loot a little bit? Kind of what sort of some of the more common stuff people might expect to find while patrolling.
Sure.
Without giving too
So,
much away.
yeah, I mean, the most common thing you're going to be finding is experience and gold, and then there's going to be rarer things. You will probably see some runes every once in a while, but beyond that, we do have new unique equipment that will be available. And I guess I'll also just note that the system is designed where loot is enemy based rather than just doing it based. So each specific enemy has their own specific loot table and unique drops potentially from any of them, but not necessarily all of them.
Okay, that's cool. Looking forward to seeing some of those potentially. You probably can't see my eyebrows, but potentially unique drops. Okay, so we've got a little bit more time. Excuse me.
I did see a couple other questions, so maybe
Had a bit of frog in my
I'll
throat.
just do that real fast before we
Yeah, hit 'em. Go
move
for it.
on. So there's the one just now about asking about pet bonuses, and there was a second question or earlier question about pet bonuses as well. So yes, there will be. You can get the XP bonus from just having a fed pet equipped. So that will apply. And then when pet combat bonuses are out, those will work in patrols as well once we have that out, and that will likely not be ready for the time in time for patrols, but there is active progress going on getting pet combat bonuses done as well.
Great. It's good news for some of the pet enjoyers out there. Get excited. Did you see any other questions in there? I've kind of been scrolling, but I'm not seeing anything, but I don't want to miss anything. All right.
I think I saw it.
We're going to move on then. Okay. Don't want a bunch of dead air. We're going to move on. So the first not patrols related question is going to be for me, and it's about visual unknown genes. I heard down the Amber Taffy vine, very cute, that visual unknown genes are being thought to be changed from a visual gene to something else. Without going into detail, is this thought still true to this day? I don't know where you heard that or if it was ever true before this day. So the visual unknown genes certainly exist, but we don't have any plans to do anything to change them or do anything with them right now. But they do exist. That's true. That is the truest part of this question. Next question. Why don't the evasion bonuses show on the list of equipment? This is a great question, and we are going to pop that right at the bottom of Beetle Dude's list. He doesn't have enough on there yet, so we're going to add that on because that does seem pretty useful.
In the middle.
What's that? In the middle.
Go in the middle of the list.
That's right. Yeah, in the middle. Next question is, I'm going to get this one too. Has team considered a new type of hunt for influenced heroes only on Metis? Patrols. You can patrol. It's not a hunt. It's a patrol. This is great. I get to answer a lot of questions. This next one is actually for Hubert, and I'm going to summarize this one a little bit because it's kind of a mouthful, but it seems like the person is wondering if in our next Dark Summoning event, if we could set it up in such a way that you can only access this very limited skin by Dark Summoning one or the other of the previous special skins to make them even more exclusive.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I guess I'll say we have a limited number of colors that we can add at this point, just because of the limitation of how the genes work. So if we were to do that, if it was only that, that's all we did is just you can get this rare skin by burning others, then I think that would end up with us not getting as many heroes burned in the first place. So I don't know that would be the best, but if we did do a one that's similar to how we've done it so far, plus another one that you can get by burning the unique colored skins, then I think that would make it we could do that, but then it would also shave off one of our remaining precious gene slots that we can use. So I'm not sure that we would do that, but it's possible. It wouldn't be that complicated to program it to do that, but it would reduce, our handful of options that we have left even further.
Nice. Okay, so that's a we could, but we don't want to. I'm into that. Let's see. So we got a couple of. I think we can move pretty quickly on these next questions. They're all pretty easy to answer. This one's going to be for Hubert. How far is the team on starting to develop the crafting system? Give me like a 1 out of 100, with 100 being like it'll be done tomorrow.
8.
8.
It's
think it's
not
pretty
very
good.
close,
I think
guys.
it's really
I almost
good.
said 1 to 10, but you wouldn't even have been. It would have been 0. Rounded down, it would have been 0.
Like 2 if it was 1 to 10. But yeah, it's not very close. I mean, we have too many things we're working on right now. I will say that patrols gets us closer, because the equivalent of this in the future is going on the travel system and hunting specific enemies to get their their furs or their horns or claws or whatever, to be able to do that in crafting. So we have a piece that we needed that wasn't there yet before. So this is a step in that direction, but yeah, not very much attention is being put towards like actually designing the whole system and stuff. Like we need to be working on land functionality to really like get to the point where that's going to be happening. So it's still a ways off.
There you go. That's kind of like a like a pro tip secret how to know crafting is coming. Like when you see land stuff start happening, then crafting likely is right around the corner. Here's a quick one. This is an easy one for you, Hubert. What stat determines mana cost for spells?
Level is the stat that determines mana
Level.
cost. Yes.
Okay, so like every level 13 seer sanctuary is going to be the same price,
Right.
regardless of what their or regardless of what their intelligence or whatever is. So
Right.
Next question. I'm actually going to take this one. When canceling expeditions, is it possible to have the system claim any available expeditions prior to canceling the rest of the time escrowed? So this is something we've like talked about a little bit internally, and more or less there's like 2 or 3 things that are happening here. So canceling an expedition isn't necessarily the way that they're designed to be used. We're hoping that people will complete them, go all the way through them. Canceling them is kind of stepping outside of the natural progression that we had planned for this. So the other part is we've added in some functionality and prompts. So as you're canceling those, it'll let you know, hey, if you cancel this, you're going to lose rewards. And it gives you the opportunity to process and claim those right then. The third piece is contract size, adding in functionality, and this kind of ties in with the first piece, adding in functionality that we didn't really design for, bloats the contract more than it needs to be. It makes it chubby and big, and we have limited space on those. So in this case, we opted with the process and claim.
I'll just add
option.
real quick also
Sneak
that
in there.
the expedition contracts in particular are already quite bloated. Like they're so we've had to like split out code into new contracts just to make it all work, like maybe 2 or 3 times when we were designing that whole thing because of how much is in there. So yeah, don't really want to add something really when you could just claim and then cancel if that's what you want to do. So
yeah, I think that's sort of the way the system was designed to work. Moving on to the next question. So this is kind of a fun one. It's not even a question. This is just somebody shouting this out. Let us burn pets for divine and greater divine essence. Interesting.
okay, sure.
Question. Hey,
fine.
He's gonna let you do it. Sounds
Maybe,
like
probably.
maybe. Okay, he's thinking about it.
Perhaps it might happen. You'll see.
Under what circumstance
Probably.
do you think that maybe you'd let somebody do that?
Like enough time passes and we have the divine essence system out, maybe.
There you go. So that sounds pretty like a pretty straightforward answer there. Next one, we are going to Frisky Fox for this one. He was actually really excited about this question during our pre-meet. So hope you're listening, Frisky. when simple paperclip dude to answer questions in game, like Microsoft paperclip dude.
Yeah, they shot this one over to me because I'm the designated AI fanatic on the team. But everybody hates the paperclip. Like it's not going to beat the paperclip. That's
The
that's so
paperclip wasn't
annoying.
AI, right? That was, I don't know what that thing was.
It was ahead of its time by like 1,000 years. Maybe it'll come back someday. But I think there's so many cool things we could do with AI. I think there's tons of cool opportunities for like even mini like AI powered NPCs that could have their own little things going on. There's also all kinds of like I've had like a million ideas with AI, but that all got shot down pretty harshly. Not all of them, most of them. So I won't mention any of them, but they're amazing. But yes, AI is amazing, and I think that it's definitely going to have an impact on all kinds of games in the whole space in the future. So it really just depends on what we want to do with our space and how we want to eventually implement it somehow. But the paperclip guy, there's been, I think actually the community has somebody, I swear I've seen this, where somebody built sort of a AI that could answer your DFK questions. And
Emerson, Frosty.
Yes. And they powered it by like basically feeding it all of the DFK lore and our documents and all that type of stuff. And that's really cool. So I think that they're definitely there's a lot of opportunity for the community to have a lot of fun with AI. And I've seen a lot of like AI powered images that have been created about, some of like the DFK lore and lands and heroes and monsters and NPCs and stuff like that. And that's always fun as well. So lots of cool stuff. I even had that thing I made, was it earlier this year? The DFK dungeon master sort of thing that was pretty fun too. So lots of cool stuff. Bolon did add in the chat, and I'll call it out. But yeah, we have been really careful with AI, just because like we don't want to lose control in a sense over what is shown in our interface, because AI is unpredictable right now. And we deal with like real world financial assets in our game. And so we want to make sure that those are always safe and protected.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for talking on that for a little bit. And pretty soon we're gonna have like a loudmouth bloater in the game that's screaming at you all the time. Real quick before we go on to the next question, don't forget to put patrols in the chat for a chance to win a set of armor. So I'll be doing that in the next little bit. I see some in here. I would have thought we had more than that. I thought I saw more than that on the screen. So if you didn't put it in there, throw it in there. Next question is going to be for Hubert. Is Mini Hubert coding yet?
Not yet, though. He has started to he can crawl now, and he crawls outside of my office and stares at my door. So he might be learning from osmosis.
He hears everything, right? Yeah. Okay.
So
okay. Next question. I'm going to take this one. Please tell me page 10 is in the new drops for patrols. It ain't. It's not in there. Or you know what? It is in there. Just you just have to win just the right one, and it's like a rare drop. It's in there though. You just have to find it. Next question is going to be for Hubert, and I'm gonna paraphrase this one a little bit just because it's kind of a broad question, but it's asking, why don't hunts and duels play off of each other a little bit? Like, why doesn't your rank in duels increase your potential to find things in hunts? And why don't hunt rewards somehow make duels better? I don't know. I don't think that they were actually asking it to go that way, but they were hoping that your duel rank could increase the rewards you may find from hunts.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I mean that would complicate an already complicated system even more. And I don't know that I don't think everything needs to be like fully interconnected or like, that everything has to be one thing. I think it's okay to have things that are separate. Duels was built before we had a combat system, and it has kind of a different angle for like how how you play and everything like that. So like linking the two, like while it's doable, I'm not sure I remember that supportive of it. It was meant to be a mini game to give people something to do while we build these more difficult things to build. And yeah, I'm not sure. Like if we did that, then we'd basically like we'd be asking everyone to duel, and some people might not want to. Otherwise, and then if they don't, then they're going to feel like they're missing out. So it is, that is kind of a, I don't know. I don't know that I'd want to put that on people. Like, not that doing duels is bad or anything like that, but everyone has what they like to do. I know that there are at least some people that don't play duels, and that kind of a move would force people to do it. In a lot of ways, they'd feel very obligated to do it.
Yeah, if they want to stay competitive, right? Cool.
I
Yeah,
think that's a huge thing too. Like, we don't want to make something like you have to do this other thing so that you can compete on this other unrelated thing. Like, if you look at some of the complex games out there, like Final Fantasy 11 or something, you have like mini games and like other types of things you can do. You've even got like PvP type stuff, and those don't necessarily have to connect to every other system in the game. And you'll see a lot of similar things in this as well.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for your thoughts on that. We got one more question from the chat, and then I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run it 3 times and give it 3 sets of armor away. So this one's gonna be for Frisky Fox from Dank Nation. I believe the team mentioned off-chain upgrades to storage performance. Any news on that?
Yeah, so Pinecone, he's amazing, and he's the brains behind our API stuff. And he also does a lot of work with the combat engine stuff as well. And so he actually noticed that there was like a rising cost in our storage with how we were storing historical hunts and like fights and things like that, where every month it was growing by hundreds of dollars. He's like, hey, there's a better way to do this. So he built a system to basically offload those older historical hunts and combat as well into a system. Actually, I don't think it's been implemented for combat yet, so I might be misspeaking there, but it will be into another system that uses sort of like a colder storage, but it's still there. It's still available when it's needed. So if somebody wants to look at a historic hunt, they can, and it'll pull it from that other slightly slower place, but it's way cheaper. So historical hunts are watched like less than 1% of the time, and I'm just making up that number, so don't quote me. But most of the action is actually like new hunts that are either happening in real time or have just barely happened. But after a few days or even a few weeks, it's like you don't usually go back and watch. So we basically have a script that runs and moves those periodically to a much cheaper storage place, and then we keep all of the current ones in our hot storage place, and it's basically saved us, or it will save us thousands of dollars a month. So huge shout out to Pinecone on that. Those types of optimizations really, really help.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pinecone. Well done. Great. Well, we're kind of rounding off on the hour here, so I'm going to do some drawing. Here's the first one. Who's it gonna be? Is it Jerem? It's Chris Smith. I think you've won stuff before, man. Congratulations. Reach out to me. You know where to find me, because I'm pretty sure you've won stuff before, dude. Congratulations again. All right, here we go for the next one. That first one was for the lightest armor. I can't remember what it's called. The lightest one.
Is this hunt armor, or is this from the gold shop armor?
This is from the gold shop. Come on, I'm not made of money here. Like, this is from the gold shop. Next winner is going to be Rabbit. This is for the medium armor. And then the final one is going to be, this is kind of the big one. It's for the shield and the heavy armor. So good luck. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Bolon. Come on, Bolon. Should we spin that one again?
Congrats, Bolon.
Good job, Bolon.
We're gonna run that one again. Get out of here, Bolon. Who's it gonna be? Reba.
Was somebody's name Shoes My Girlfriend Wears? Did I see that?
Yeah, that was. Yep, that's been floating around in there for sure.
That's amazing.
We do have one final question that I think we could probably knock out super quick. I was thinking we might just dance away from it, but we got through the giveaway
shield
stuff
too.
fast.
I thought you were.
What's that?
Didn't you say you were going to do a shield also?
Oh, I was just gonna give the shield to the person who got the heavy armor. That was the big win. It's like a
Lucky
twofer.
Reba.
Lucky Reba. If all of you could shoot me a message in Discord, I'm Winston Jazz Hands in Discords. You'll be able to find me, I think. And yeah, one last question. Let's see. Thoughts on creating an in-game player log that would allow you to see if a hero / pet has been sold or purchased, or for hiring heroes. Fox, do you want to take this one?
You know I do. It was totally not me who was just sending you a Slack message. Don't forget that last question. So, no, there is this is a thing that we've sort of been talking about for a long time of having some kind of like a notification center in game where like you could see things that happen and kind of like review them. And I think that's still very much on our list. One step towards that we're actually currently working on. Me and Pinecone put our heads together and we're like, let's build something. So we wanted to do something that's related to the data that we already are processing in the API around like stuff that's happening and like events like heroes being sold and creating bouts and you know, like leveling up and all that type of stuff, and actually be able to let the player subscribe to notifications for these things. So I actually have a pretty cool screenshot that I can't share because I don't know how to do it here, but basically you'll have a new page in the interface theoretically, and I've already built this, but I'm saying theoretically because it's not merged yet and I don't have that power, so it has to go through the smart people over on the front end. But you'll be able to sort of say, I want to subscribe to notifications about when my heroes have sold, for example, or I want to hear marketing updates, or I want to hear when there's sponsored bouts. And so then anytime that happens, the API will process those events and basically in real time push those out to your computer, to your phone, wherever it is that you are playing the game. You'll have the option to subscribe to those, and it'll use in-game like notifications. So if you have it open, it'll stick up a little toast there that'll be like bloop, bloop, bloop. And if you're not in game, if you don't have it open, it'll still send you a little push notification on your phone or on your computer that will have a little thing there that will pop up and say, hey, your hero just sold, or hey, there's a sponsored bout, go check it out, or hey, there's a current Halloween event going on, go see what it is. So there's all kinds of opportunities there that we could potentially use the system for, and I would like to see it expand into other things in the future. You'd be able to theoretically create a sort of like notification history in like our interface that would just show you all of your past notifications as well, in case you swiped it really quickly prior to reading it or something. And so there's opportunities there. So I'm excited about that. It'll help to keep our players more engaged and help you to sort of like react in real time as stuff is happening. So really stoked.
Yeah, thanks, Fox. Glad we got to knock that one down. I mean, I think we are right at the top. So any final thoughts from anybody? I'm going to nominate Sunbear. Sunbear, you're going to bullish us. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate you joining us today. And we missed you, Bolon. We'll see you next week. Thanks to everybody who's treating each other well and working to help each other out in the Discord and be kind to each other. Fox, what do you got?
Oh, here I was like doing my dance, like I'm done. Let's see.
Not yet.
One other thing, we have this cool channel in our Slack for layer 0. When there's a bridge that gets stuck, it'll let us know right away. And it did this morning. And we're like, oh, Magnus hopped on, analyzed it, said, oh, this thing hasn't been configured right. We had that get set, and we were able to re-execute that ourselves. In fact, anyone can re-execute it, which is awesome. And it went through. So basically in under probably 15 minutes, it was fixed and done. And so it's just a breath of fresh air to have that ability. So wanted to call that out too. Other than that, obviously I'm super bullish about this project and this team and the community. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the general space right now. A lot of excitement starting to build, and you see the excitement around like Bitcoin and some of the other coins out there, and really exciting time to be here. So thank you to everybody, and that's it for me.
Hubert, you're next. If you got anything you'd like to share, or you can also pass. You know, that's fine. You can pass. Bolon doesn't let people pass.
Yeah, no, I'm excited we could finally share what we're doing with patrols. That was something we really didn't reveal at all, and it's cool that we were able to do this so soon. Like, I didn't expect it to be that way, but in kind of our discussions of what we can do to help onboard players, what are the pain points and things like that. Like, having low level combat content that is more accessible is kind of one of the bigger things that we were missing out on. So it's great that we could do this. The team has been just absolutely stellar in pumping out the content that we need to make this happen. We still have some more to go, so it's not like next week or the week after that, or maybe the week after that either. But we are just plowing right along. I think Beto told me that he's got one more enemy that he needs to put in, and then all of the enemies will exist. And then we still have to add more of their abilities, though. Like, right now they all have just their basic attacks. Most enemies have at least 2 abilities, but some have 3. So we got to get all those in and balance test all of those. And then once that's all done, all the data is ready. The contracts are still being audited right now, so that they're getting closer. Most of what needs to be there is there. So we're trying to get that all done while we're also working on tournaments, and just really excited for all the things that are going to come out from all of that. So thank you all for all of your patience and support, as always. Really, we couldn't do any of this without you guys. So thank you as always, and I hope you're excited as we are for all this. And I look forward to see you guys kind of discover all the different things that we're putting into this. And like I said, it's very, very expandable. And there's a lot of cool things that we can do in the future with it. So I'm looking forward to everything. So that's it.
Thank you, Hubert. And Sunbear, take us home.
Okay, I can do that. But real quick, just heard from our close partner on Metis, the Hercules team. And if you got yourself a muscle suit Visage in the Visage shop recently, then you know that there was a $5,000 prize attached to those Visages. It's in Metis Jewel LPs that you can go and claim in the Hercules protocol right now. And when you do, don't forget they'll help you not only claim it, but you can restake it into the Nitro pool to get some more rewards. So, and if you didn't do that, I'm sorry, you missed out, but you can still go check out Hercules and earn some good APRs right now. So wanted to say that real quick. Why am I bullish? I'm bullish because of Winston's jazz hands. I'm bullish because of Fox's friskiness, and I'm bullish because of Hubert's Cumberdale brain patrol making genius. And I just realized SBD is also like I'm SB. So maybe I should be Sunbear Dad. I might have to copy that because I think he is my new hero. So anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you, and bullish.
Bullish. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.